Roger that. Confirming fire.
I don't think anybody is going to be surprised with the fact that this is going to be my next review video, even though I said that I was going to do the XM1. I just done the CV90 105, and this thing got added to 7.0, and I decided, why the hell not? Let's see how good it is, because I'm not seeing a lot of them, and it turns out that this thing is insanely fun. Not everything added to this game needs to be meta-defining or anything like that. This is a very fun vehicle, and I recommend it in short. But anyways, let's get into the details. This thing has a 155mm gun. It has an autoloader, and it has a very, very good round. It has two of them, in fact. One of them is going to be a standard high explosive round, and the other one is going to be an HE, variable time fuse, which is an HEVT round in short. And you're getting ready to see them come up on the screen. Both of these rounds are identical, other than one of them being a high explosive variable time fuse, which means that it will go off if shot near planes or helicopters, or if it's 10 feet to the ground. I don't know the exact, I think it's about 10 feet. It'll detonate. They both have 58mm of penetration, and they both have 7.5 kilos of HE filler, which gives it 58mm of pen all around. Now, I just killed a T-10 by shooting him in the front of the turret. The new HE mechanics, with overpressure, makes this tank extremely deadly, which is very hilarious in the fact that this thing has a 3.2 second autoloader, meaning that you can have your entire turret shot to shit and you're still going to reload the gun. You're still going to be able to fire so long as your gunner is not dead. This tank is hilarious. I love this thing. So, obviously this thing has some pros and cons, but before we get into that, let's talk about the research and the cost and everything like that. To get it, it's at 7.0 on the Swedish tech tree. It's going to be over on the side with like the UDES and the PVRBV, PVRBV ATGM carrier. It's going to be before the UDES though. This thing is only going to be 110,000 XP to research, and it's going to cost 310,000 to purchase it. Once you do that, it's going to be 90,000 to put a crew in it, and if you want an expert crew, it's going to be 310,000 Silver Lions, and if you want an ace crew, it's going to be 1,200 Golden Eagles. Now, to get the ace crew for free, it's going to be 720,000 XP that you're going to have to get in this tank. I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend putting anything above an expert crew in it. If you really, really like it, sure, go ahead, but this thing does just fine as is. Every single one of these clips in this video, this tank is not fully upgraded, and I recorded all of these at 5 a.m. There were actually 4 and 5 a.m. I was extremely tired when I recorded all of these, and I still did really well in it, which was really surprising. Now let's get into the pros and cons a little bit. This tank has a very, very weird ability to survive getting shot, and I count it because people don't know where to shoot this thing yet, and because of the gun firing so fast, if somebody messes up a shot on you, it will give you time to shoot 2 or 3 times before they reload. The one way to kill this tank in one shot is to shoot its turret in the side and the breach not eat all of your round, and it gets all the way through to the other side, because there's 4 people in the turret. There's 2 on each side between the gun. But obviously the number one way to kill this thing is to shoot it in its gigantic Volkswagen Beetle size ammo rack in the back of its head. That's the easiest way to kill it. But it seems most people who try to shoot that, your gun eats the shot, so that doesn't work all the time, which isn't really that bad. The number one way to prevent this tank from killing you is preventing it from firing its gun. If you shoot it and it doesn't have the ability to fire back, there's absolutely nothing this tank is going to be able to do to you. It's not going to be able to get away very quickly, and it's not going to be able to repair that gun very quickly. And the gun is a huge target on this vehicle. Now, if you shoot it and you don't take out the gun, or you can't hit the gun, the number one way to kill it is, since it cannot turn its turret very far left and right, is to shoot it and immobilize it where it cannot rotate the body. That is probably one of the quickest ways. But this tank has a lot of pros too. And one obviously being its insanely fast autoloader. Its second being its very high, well, relatively high velocity for the gun that it is, of being a 155. It has the ability to reach out and touch someone. And you're going to see a clip of that here very shortly, of me doing that same thing to a martyr at 1600 meters. The gun is extremely accurate, but you do not have a good optic. It does not zoom in. It is very, very, very low power, and it is not good. But having the ability to let's put it this way, if you're familiar with playing World War II vehicles and shooting people at very long distances, such as playing the 88mm on the Germans and having to shoot people at unknown distances, and just being able to look at the environment and tell how far you are based off of experience, you're going to do fine in this tank, because you don't have a laser rangefinder. You can just try to rangefind it yourself manually, but I don't really recommend it. You can just fire a shot and see where it lands, and by the time that round gets there, you're already going to be reloaded. I just recommend doing that because you can shoot so fast. Missing a shot in this thing is not a detriment. It is not a burden. Because by the time that first round hits whatever you're shooting at, you already have one ready to go. So it's not really that big of a deal. One major issue of this tank is that you have 2 degrees of gun depression, which is really shit. But you can't really blame it too much, because I mean, it's a rear mounted gun and it's an artillery piece. It was never meant to, I guess, fire directly at frontline targets, but still, you just got to be aware of you not being able to aim down at all. So, and because of it not being able to rotate its gun very far left and right, you're going to have to get used to poking yourself around corners in a very awkward manner. And being as big as you are, it is relatively hard to do that, but the more you play it, the more easier you understand how to maneuver this massive thing. And it being relatively mobile does help it a lot. I think that's one of the biggest things. Now, you don't have to be a magician and aim for pixels in this thing, because it's a 155 HE, so getting used to very now also here's the HEVT on a plane. Like I said, it 100% works, but one of the biggest things for this tank is, if you're huge, get used to good positions on the map for something like this, and you don't have to be absolutely perfect with your shots. If you hit a tank on the roof of its turret, 9 times out of 10 it's going to kill it instantly. If you hit a tank between the turret and the top of the hull, it's going to kill it instantly. Any lightly armored vehicle, it is going to kill it immediately. It is not a very hard tank to get kills in. and it's not a super hard tank to do well in, but you're not playing this tank to be competitive. This tank is solely for fun. That is how I view it. It's not something you need to take super serious if you're playing it. I take it into 9-0 plus matches all the time because shooting a 10-0 main battle tank with it is hilarious. Shooting a T-72 AV terms with this is hilarious. I got a side position on the one map and there was 4 of them and I killed all 4 of them in less than 15 seconds. It was glorious. It was so funny. But unfortunately I wasn't recording, but this was after I recorded all the clips for this. So would I recommend it? 100%. I would recommend getting this tank for fun because you're going to have to play Sweden, and Sweden's a very good tech tree. I think a lot of people who play it will say that they like it. The higher you go, the better it gets. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you want to see next. It's probably going to be the XM1 that I'm going to do next. Anyways, guys, I will see y'all later.